Hey everyone, today we're restoring this old bench grinder. Look, it's covered in dirt and rust. The power switch is completely stuck. The left grinding wheel is missing a large chunk. The right grinding wheel is just as chipped. The base is so rusty, it's flaking off. The power cord has been crudely cut. First, I'll use a wire brush to clean off the surface rust. Spraying some penetrating oil on the screws to loosen them. The screws are really tight, so I'll spray them all over. Flipping it over to work on the screws underneath. Using a screwdriver to scrape off the thick and rust. A few hard taps to break off the stubborn rust. Spraying more rust remover on the joints. Time to remove this completely broken grinding wheel. Also, removing the spindle and the washers inside. Thoroughly cleaning the removed spindle with a wire brush. Moving to the other side to remove the remaining chipped wheel. I'll put all the old broken parts in a tray. Now, to remove the screws holding the safety guards. These screws are very rusty, so I have to be careful. Using a wrench with a pipe for extra torque. For stubborn screws, I use a blowtorch to heat them up. After heating and spraying with oil, it comes right off. The high heat helps loosen old, rusted threads. Slowly disassembling the machine part by part. Next, I'll remove the large iron base, using 2 wrenches in opposite directions to loosen the base bolts. This step requires patience, as the bolts are very tight. Also removing the 2 side support brackets. Using a hex key to loosen the set screw on the shaft, turning it gently to avoid stripping the screw head. A light tap on the shaft to knock the locating pin out. Now, flipping it over to remove the last screws underneath. Using an angle grinder to cut off the seized bolt. The sparks look pretty spectacular, don't they? Lifting the main motor out of the iron frame, removing the capacitor and the internal wiring. Using a screwdriver to loosen the small screws holding the cord. Cutting off the rusty rivets on the casing with a grinder. Using a chisel and hammer to knock out the stuck bolt core. Using wire strippers to remove the old damaged connector. Let's clean all the dirt and rust off the workbench. Now, I'll attach 2 iron plates to the motor ends as a support, using a long threaded rod and nuts to clamp the plates together. Using wrenches on both ends for even pressure. The goal is to secure the motor housing before removing the core. Using a hex key to open the set screw on the center shaft. tapping with a hammer to split the motor housing in half, continuing to turn the threaded rod to push the motor shaft out. Gently tap around the casing with a hammer, loosen the locking screw on this side shaft. Hammer hard to separate the casing and motor core. Remove the long bolts holding the motor casing. Gently tap the edge with a chisel and hammer to separate the casing. Carefully lift the rear cover off the copper coil. Pull the rotor out of the stator coil. Gently hammer off the front cover too. Clamp the motor shaft in a vise to remove the old bearings. Place all the iron casing parts in a large tray. Use a grinder to remove old paint and rust. Grind thoroughly to reveal the shiny metal underneath. Wash all parts with soapy water and a brush. Scrub the caked on dirt off the casing. Place everything in a drying cabinet to dry completely. Turn on the dryer and wait a short while. After drying, the parts look much cleaner. Hammer out the dents on the iron base. Tap evenly along the edges to flatten the base. Spray a coat of grey primer on all components. Evenly spray small parts like washers and brackets. Apply a thin layer of filler to pits and dents on the base. Use a plastic spreader to smooth out the filler. Apply more filler to the motor casing where needed. Once dry, wet sand the filler until smooth. This ensures an extremely smooth finish after painting. Now for the fun part, spraying the blue top coat. The blue looks very robust and modern, right? I'll spray the washers solid black. Gloves on, let's work on the motor core. Pour some cleaning solution into a stainless steel tray. Brush the solution on the copper coil to remove grease. Also clean the old capacitor and the rotor shaft. Use a wire brush polisher to clean the iron core. Neatly re-strip the stator wire ends. Use a multimeter to check the coil's continuity. Readings are good, the coil works perfectly. Continue polishing the rotor shaft. Apply a thin layer of grease to both ends of the shaft. Place the locking nut in the sandblaster. Sandblasting will completely remove rust from the threads. Heat the nut with a torch and quench it in oil. This is oil quenching. It hardens and creates a protective black finish. Do the same for the grinder's extension shaft. After sandblasting, spray a protective black coat. Polish the machines on off switch. Also, polish the capacitor's aluminum casing. Use wire strippers to crimp new terminals for the capacitor. Use a multimeter to check the capacitor's capacitance. The capacitor's still good, so we'll reuse it. Throw the old rusty bearings in the trash. Prepare a new set of shiny stainless steel screws. Unbox 2 new NSK bearings from Japan. Place the bearing on the shaft and use a hydraulic press to secure it. The press ensures the bearing goes on straight and true. Press the second bearing onto the other end of the shaft. Place the blue motor housing cover on the rotor shaft. Use the press again to fit the cover snugly against the bearing. Carefully insert the rotor core into the stator coil. Install the rear housing cover, aligning the joints. Gently press the 2 housing halves together with a hydraulic press. Tighten the long screws to secure the motor housing. Use a wrench to tighten them again for good measure. Now, let's assemble the parts onto the blue iron base. First, screw the motor support bracket to the base. Flip the base and tighten the nut underneath with a wrench. Install the 2 adjustment brackets on the sides. Tighten the stainless steel screws to secure the support frame. Install the on/off toggle switch onto the frame. Use a wrench to securely tighten the switch's nut. Place the capacitor in the tray inside the base. Install the extension shaft onto the main motor shaft. Start connecting the wiring inside the base. Cut off the unnecessary auxiliary plug on the other end. Strip the outer insulation from the power cord. Strip the 3 inner wires for connection. Feed the power cord through the hole in the back of the grinder base. Crimp a ring terminal onto the yellow-green ground wire. Use plastic wire nuts to connect the wire ends. Tighten the nuts to ensure a secure, safe connection. Wrap the capacitor wire connections with electrical tape. Tuck all the wiring neatly inside the base compartment. Screw the ground wire to the iron body for safety. Tighten this ground screw securely with a screwdriver. Use an Allen key to tighten the set screw on the extension shaft. Tighten both sides so the shaft won't loosen at high speed. Plug it in and flip the switch to test the motor. Perfect. The motor runs smoothly and quietly with no strange noises. Unplug it and proceed to install the outer guards. Install the inner wheel guard onto the machine body. Flip the machine to tighten the guard screws from below. Evenly tighten all the stainless steel nuts with a wrench. Install the 2 work rests on the sides of the machine. Align them evenly, then tighten the securing screws. Use 2 wrenches to tighten the work rest bolts. Prepare 2 new, nice orange grinding wheels. Install the plastic washer and new wheel on the left shaft. Add the outer washer and tighten the securing nut. Do the same for the new grinding wheel on the right side. Use 2 adjustable wrenches to securely tighten the locking nuts on both ends. Now let's make 2 protective spark shields. Use calipers to draw a circle on a piece of scrap metal. Use a hand cutter to cut the metal along the drawn line. Grind the sharp edges of the cut piece on the grinder. Weld a thin metal strip around the edge of the welding plate. This step creates a more solid, protective rim. While welding, tap it with a hammer so the strip fits snugly. Securely tack weld around the entire rim. Use a grinder to smooth out the welds. Cut a notch in the plate to make space for grinding. Use a metal file to smooth all the cut edges. Spray a coat of primer, then a blue top coat on the new covers. Install this outer cover on the left grinding wheel assembly. Tighten the small stainless steel screws around the edge to secure it. Install the bracket that holds the shield above the grinding wheel. Install the cover for the right grinding wheel in the same way. Tighten all the screws with a screwdriver and wrench. Now, let's install two small brackets to hold the acrylic dust shield. Use small screws and wing nuts for easy angle adjustment. Use a screwdriver to tighten the screws on the acrylic shield bracket. Cut two transparent acrylic pieces from a large sheet. Score it deeply with a utility knife, then snap it for a clean bracket. Grind the acrylic edges on the grinder for a nice finish. Drill 2 holes in each acrylic piece for screws. Screw the transparent acrylic piece onto the bracket on the grinder. This acrylic sheet will block sparks and dust from your eyes. Let's peel off the protective film. It looks very clear. Let's stick the original specification label back on the grinder. Plug it in, turn it on, and let's try grinding metal back. Sparks are flying evenly. The acrylic dust shield works great. The machine runs extremely smoothly, with no vibration at all. The restoration of this old grinder was a complete success, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you in the next project.